Hi folks, I'm FairGamerBoy and welcome to my channel. I've found that one of the most under-discussed factors in winning or losing games is tilt and how we mitigate it. In this video I wanted to go through some of the factors that cause tilt, what it is, and why it's important. So let's start with an explanation of tilt. Tilt originally was used as a poker term for a state of mental or emotional confusion or frustration in which a player adopts a less than optimal strategy, usually resulting in the player becoming over-aggressive. Tilt is the feeling you get when you lose games you feel you should have won, when you harshly criticize yourself for your misplays, when every meta or meme deck you face off against makes you spit with rage or interact cruelly with your opponent. And you've got to start to learn to recognize the signs of tilt in yourself. Like if your body language becomes aggressive or your misplays and losses are causing you to become unnaturally frustrated, you're probably tilting. And knowing how to recognize these signs is a valuable skill as a player because it tells us when we need to act to prevent further loss of win percentage. Now to quickly sidetrack, win percentage is, simply put, the chance you'll win or lose a game without knowing any of the external factors influencing the game. For example, what your opponent's deck is, what your draws are, etc. In poker, this is almost entirely based on skill level, because you've got obviously the same deck of cards every time. Whereas in Runeterra, your deck choice, the meta, tech options, etc. are going to heavily influence this as well. Win percentage is in flux constantly, and it changes with every new fact that's revealed. For example, if your opponent plays a 1-drop or not, it might go up or down. What deck they're playing, once you learn that, can very heavily influence the win percentage. Whether or not they're teched against your deck, whether they draw their tech options. Now obviously this is very complex, and even the smartest people who spend all their time playing games can rarely estimate this percentage with any degree of accuracy, but you can ballpark some of the figures. Knowing what it is though, there is an important caveat, and that's that win percentage is not a silver bullet. Even with the computer accurate analysis of the percentages, they're still just percentages, and you need to understand that losing with the best decks and plays doesn't necessarily make you a bad player. Sometimes the numbers just don't fall in your favor. Think about it like rolling a giant dice. 50%'s about the average number that most players will be at, 60% is what like a really good player will be at, and on the whole, across their careers, even the most top tier players won't get up to 70% of a win rate. But this isn't 100%. So it's not a guarantee. Percentages are a numbers game. Given a long enough time, a person with a 30% win rate is eventually going to win 20 games in a row. And the same with a person with a 70% win rate eventually losing 20 games in a row. As unlikely as it is, there are circumstances where this could happen to you. And if you're doing as much as you can right and playing the best you can, it's just a matter of time until your bad luck ends. Each game exists independently of each other game. The variables and factors surrounding them are not impacted by you being on a losing streak or not. You are though. Getting frustrated or impatient or tilted is a guaranteed way to lower your win percentage. And in a world of very chaotic variables, controlling the ones closest to us is all we can really hope to do to give ourselves slightly better odds. So can we fight bad luck and win? Well, boiling it down, bad luck is just a series of dice rolls that happen to all land on low numbers. It's the difference between drawing a card when you need it and drawing it one turn too late. Consigning ourselves to these variables can be tempting. After all, they're unfeeling or powerful and sometimes cruel. But you do have some control, and giving yourself over to the tides of percentages only means that they'll roll badly for you more often. Accepting that your input will have an effect some of the time is the first step to influencing luck, and by extension, your win rate. Sometimes you can make every play perfectly, and it's still not enough to let you win. But the thing that's gonna help you level up as a player is understanding that in a different game, it might have. So, say we're on the galaxy brain level, we're seeing the matrix of variables, but we're losing a few too many times and we start to get a bit tilted. What do? Well, take a break. And by this, I mean a few things. So, one of the important ones is to stop playing ranked. Ranked raises the stakes of each of the games that you play, so losing them becomes more impactful. It doesn't necessarily matter as much if you're losing repeatedly, but you're not losing your rank or going down in the ranks. Go play some unranked jank decks. Like, play with a deck that you love or one that you built yourself, you know? Something that's fun to play. Play a different game. Like, go play something that you're good at and give yourself a win or two just to break yourself out of that losing streak mentality. Take some time to chill out, and then when you're feeling more calm and balanced, go back. I sometimes find it helps to think of it as kind of like a really high level, meta, holistic way of winning games. You're basically making yourself more focused and strategic before your next test of skill. Also, very importantly, you have to give yourself room to fail. You're gonna fail a lot. Even if you're winning 60 out of every 100 games, which is pretty incredible, you're still gonna have to lose 40 of those games. And beating yourself up for failing due to variables you've got no way of controlling is a waste of time and mental resources. So when you lose a game, take a second to pause and think about it. What could you have been better prepared for? What could you have done differently? Which variables within your control to change? You know, you can't read your opponent's mind, but maybe you can become a better guesser. Maybe you can learn how to better play around what they were doing. Maybe you can learn how to better pilot your own deck. But once you've asked and answered these questions, just shuffle your deck, move on to the next game. It's not going to do you any favors to stew on what could have been for too long. Finally, when you win, give yourself some positive reinforcement. And this is vital to beating tilt. When you win, celebrate it. You just beat another human being at a very complicated and difficult game, and that's impressive. For every losing streak that beats you into the ground, there's going to be a winning streak that makes you feel like a genius. So really appreciate those streaks when you have them, because they're going to keep you going through the bad times. Anyway, thanks for listening, and I hope this video helps at least a few people kick their losing streak blues. Remember to subscribe to show your appreciation and help me get off the ground. If you've got anything to add or say about the information I've presented, just comment and let me know. Your support means the world to me. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you all very soon.